All right, welcome everyone. March 10th, Monday, 2025. Hope you're doing great, and let me know if the volume is any better today. We worked on increasing the volume for the mic here, so hopefully you can hear me a-okay. Just let me know in the comment section, please. I'd appreciate that. All right, let's go into the markets today. Last Friday, we had a significant decline in the equity markets across the board. It was the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all of them. Today, the selling continues. This to me feels like programmed selling. If you've ever experienced declines in the market where it happens quickly and across the board, that is literally a program that is designed for stocks to sell off. So there's a lot of sellers in the marketplace, as you can tell, obviously. And, at some point, it will stop. I guarantee you the selling will stop and the buy programs will kick in and they'll be in full force, just like the sell programs are. So I just want to give you, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here. Try not to get too concerned about this sell-off. It is normal over a course of time being an equity investor, no matter what you have, whether you have crypto or stocks, bonds, whatever your investments are, this sell-off is happening across the board in multiple asset classes, in multiple sectors. So this is, someone asked me, just a friend of mine yesterday, so what do you think of the stock market? I said, well, it's a lot cheaper than it was even a month ago and a lot less expensive to buy shares of some of the best companies in the world. So I always look at sell-offs as opportunities. And, I'm poking around to see where's some good value here. I'll talk about that in the live stream today. But I just wanted to share with you, I know it doesn't feel good when you're looking at your portfolio right now. I get that. But just know this too shall pass. And at some point, as we look at these indexes, at some point, all of them, they all look kind of the same, right? Down 2.81% today. The Dow is off. Now, this Dow selling off 840 points, it's going to be a big number on the news tonight. And on a percentage basis, though, it's less than 2%. So it's less of a sell-off than, like, let's say the NASDAQ, which is down 4% right now. So just try to stay really focused on what your investment goals are. Last Monday, I talked about dollar cost averaging into this market, not putting all your money to work at once, really keeping a disciplined approach to having cash on the sidelines and slowly bringing into this market. And then, of course, selling covered calls is one of the best strategies you can do right now to maximize, at least get some good returns out of the stocks that you currently have. So earnings this week, we've got Oracle coming up today after the close. I'm just going to highlight some of the bigger names. And Dick's Sporting Goods tomorrow morning before the open. That's always a sort of a bellwether company to look at in terms of their earnings, see where they come in. And we got Adobe Wednesday after the close, D-Wave before the open on Thursday. So we have a mix of technology, consumer staples, consumer durables, and, we'll just see, where these earnings come in at. Dollar General is going to be an interesting one to see Thursday morning. DocuSign after the close on Thursday. So most of the earnings for the previous quarter have been announced. These are just some extra ones that are coming in this week. So I had this really weird dream last night, and it was with this guy, Elon Musk. And my dream was that, this neural network, neural link that he's developing and has been talking about for a few years now. My dream was that he was the smartest man in the world, and we had to be very afraid of him. It's such a weird dream. And now I looked at this image this morning, this Doge, and I thought, what? There's something about that. Something. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized backwards is spelled eGOD. So like electronics, things like that. Every every technology is e something, right? An ebook, and so it just struck me like what is really the messaging here with this particular individual who has not been, and I don't like to get into politics, but I just thought about this, and on a bigger scale, we know that technocracy is really kicking in, and he's the leader of it, right? As the richest man in the world, whatever. Which I'm not quite sure about that, but he is projected in front as a leader in this venture, this Doge adventure, and we don't really know the outcome that's going to be the result of their efforts with this Doge thing. But what we probably do know is that he's going to continue to be in a position of power and very much influencing the president, governments, things like that, and not just the U.S. but globally. So he's going to be one to really to be very aware of in terms of his thought process and all of the technology that he's developing, that he's always been developing. So check out Neuralink. He's got a company called Boring, where they literally bore tunnels through the earth, and there's tunnels, and they use them for the elite, and movie stars and whatnot can drive, from downtown LA, Beverly Hills, that area, all the way to the airport underground. And they don't have to be seen. They don't have to be, noticed or bothered, right? And so there's a lot going on behind the scenes, under the earth, that's making such an impact, and things are happening very quickly, as you know. So this Friday, we are going to have an eclipse. And that's going to be interesting as well in terms of how that's going to affect the markets, going to affect us personally, how we're going to feel. It always seems like something big is associated with eclipses because they don't happen very often. So we're going to have to be, aware of that. But nevertheless, I just think there's something more that's going to be revealed. And, Tesla's selling off, NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, like there's nothing that isn't really being hit hard right now, except for companies that have already been hit hard. And one of those is Elf Beauty. They've been as high as 218 back in June 27th of 2024. The stock today is up over 8% to 76.60. And I think this is starting to, it just broke through here. It threaded today, actually. And we've got green above red. Stock has made a thread. MFI sitting at 42. This stock chart looks like one of the better ones right now because the stock is above the short-term averages. And that is only because the stock has been steadily declining for quite some time. But a recent high, just January 16th of 133 a share. And now we're seeing it at 76.60. So a huge sell-off. And I think it's turned the corner. So there's opportunity there for a reasonably priced company. Market cap is down to 4.3 billion. So there seems to be making all the right moves with this company. Let's also look at Big Bear, which is it was my number one pick for the year. Where is it? Big Bear here. Earnings came out last week. They were disappointing. The market wanted to see better numbers. and they announced their year numbers as well. Stock has pulled back quite a bit, and basically at the level of where it was early December. Pretty much when I first found the company, I found it right around this price at like 326, I believe. And the more research I did, the more excited I got about the company and realized, hey, this is by January, I was fully into knowing that that was going to be my number one pick for the year. And look at the MFI at 553. That's one of the lowest MFIs I've ever seen. So much selling with this stock. But just this morning, news came out that they got another government contract, and it's over a 3-year period. Where is it? Here we go. Oppenheimer. I didn't see this. Oppenheimer and Co. invest $325,000 in Big Bear Holdings. That was Friday. So there's starting to be more institutional buyers in this stock. But news came out this morning. Let's see. It's not on that headline. It's over here where they were awarded a contract to modernize the critical Department of Defense force management platform. So that was announced right before the market opened. Stock popped up a little bit today. But here it is. The company has a 3.5-year, $13.2 million sole source contract to support the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff's Directorate for Force Management. Big Bear will deliver and maintain the Department of Defense Joint Staffs. There we go. Lots of acronyms here. Decision Support Platform. And, it really seems like this Kevin is the CEO of Big Bear, is really making some good contacts. And I think we're going to see a few more of these contracts come shortly to the company and the announcements being made. So, I really like this stock. I still like it. I still think it's got huge upside potential, especially if you're patient, you hold on to it in the long run. I think that's going to be very important. One thing, though, I think we need, and I've been talking about this for a while, I think we need to be aware of the stagflation fears rattle U.S. markets ahead of key inflation data. So I think the stagflation is what it sounds like. Inflation stays stagnant, so it's here to stay. But I think what this is going to lead to is a little more of a hyperinflationary situation where, there's a lot of this talk of tariff wars, and now a new prime minister has been announced for Canada, and he, the ego couldn't get any bigger, and basically saying, he's going to fight tooth and nail with these tariffs. And, I just think as countries dig their heels in, we as a citizen of these countries, we're going to find ourselves feeling, instead of open borders, very closed in. I think it's going to limit the goods and services that are going to be available to us. Period. Like, when you think about, where your coffee comes from, something as simple as that, so it really forces us to continue to stay. I've been talking about this for years, buying local. I'm sure a lot of you already do that anyway. Support your local farmer, support your friend down the street who has the chickens, that type of thing. Very important to acknowledge, the power of buying locally, and not only within your neighborhood, within the country, but as close to home as you can get, I think is going to be more and more critical. So if you haven't already, start making connections. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, really connect in with your local providers of everything from fruits and vegetables. Consider a garden. Growing your own food, I think, is going to be very important as well. So we are in for a very interesting time, not just with the equity markets, but I think overall we're going to see, I think, a change in life. Like, I really think shifts are happening quickly, whether it's, weather related or price related or tariff wars related. There's so much building during this time, building up of narratives and propaganda that it is keeping people distracted. And I think, and I've said it before, one of the best things you can ever do is stay focused on living the best life ever. Like, whatever that looks like. And what are you in control of? You're in control of your health. You're in control of your thoughts, your belief systems. Just really focus on those things that are within your control, and ask yourself each and every day, is this in my control or out of my control? Politics, frankly, I think are out of control anyway. And there's not a whole lot that we can do about it other than removing ourselves from the system. So that means, don't be political, don't go out and vote, don't support that system that is only working for a certain class of people and hurting so many others. So that's my best recommendation with that, is just not get caught up in it. And then it allows you to really use your power of concentration toward building something great, toward having the best life ever, toward improving your health and well-being. The better your health, the better your well-being, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the more better you can do in this world, right? So being very focused on that, doubling down on those things that you can control in your life, that you're in direct charge of. I think as we look at these news events that come up, that that everything is breaking news, it's all big headline news now, and I think that affects our central nervous system, and it gets us on kind of alert, like, oh no, like, oh great, what's going on now? And again, so much of this is out of our control. So I think the key is to ask yourself, when you see something pop up, or if you notice a feeling within your body of being affected by something, is, do I have any direct control over this? What can I take control of right now? What is within my control? And when you start to ask questions like that, you're going to be guided in a way that will make you feel better, because, maybe you just say, I'm just going to ignore all this and I'm just going to get to work. I'm going to build that thing that I want to build. I'm going to write that book that I want to write. I'm going to, go to the gym more often. Whatever it is that you're ignoring now because you're so caught up in this agenda, in this narrative, that it's not serving you, get back to those things that serve you. I guess that's my biggest message today. This is stock investing. These are money conversations. And so what we've done is we've even added more to our platform to help you make the best investments. And that's this beautiful thing here called IV, which stands for implied volatility. We've now added it to the pick stock feature, so you can search stocks based on implied volatility. And how you would do that is, like, I just go greater than, let's say, 65%, and I click enter, and then below pops up all these companies that have an implied volatility of greater than 65%. And then you can refine your search even more. So what these stocks are showing you are stocks that have rich option contracts. And you can start to see, if you take a position in one of these stocks, you can sell covered calls against that and really start bringing in more and more to your portfolio. So I'll go into this feature a little more often. I don't want this call to be too long. I'll go into it more often down the road and share with you other strategies to use this implied volatility search feature. But, really look at And we've changed. If you look at our pick stock interface here, it's really gone through a huge change over the last couple months. And a lot of it is thanks to your input, thanks to all of our new listeners and our supporters. Thanks for sharing your ideas with us. We take them to heart and we weigh them very carefully in terms of which ones to implement and when. And our promise is we're going to get to all of them at some point. We just have to structure a way that we implement these changes as we go to affect and help as many people as possible. My favorite gold and silver site, silvergoldbull.com if you're in the US, silvergoldbull.ca if you're in Canada. Interesting, you can start buying these coins just over spot. Up pops the Canadian maple leaf. Okay, so and this is really, I'm glad this popped up. This is from the Royal Canadian Mint in the US. Obviously, it would be the US Mint. And you want, and they're pure, like 99.999% pure gold or silver. And you want the coins that have the face amount, see the $50 on that. There's so many options when it comes to gold and silver, right? You can see that you've got an ounce gold bar, you've got the coins, you've got the coins minted by the Royal Canadian Mint, and then you have other coins that are not. Here we go. So assorted gold, you get the gold bars, maple leafs. There's just a variety of these. And if you're in other countries in the world, you have the Austrian mint gold, Chinese, Mexican. You can go through and decide what you want to order. Perth mint, but I recommend just staying with standardized minted coins from the country that you live in. You can also buy, if you're in Canada, buy some gold if you want gold US coins, vice versa. If you're in the US and you're not sure about the US dollar, you can buy Canadian coins or other coins. But for now, stick to the country of your origin, where you live, and the gold coins, right? That's really what you'd want to be. But if you look at gold coins, there's 1,269 products. And a lot of that is because there are specialized coins with, all kinds of different things on them. And you want to, in my opinion, that's not necessary, because a lot of times these memorabilia coins have a premium to them. Like here's an example. This is just a half ounce 2024 lunar year of the Dragon gold coin that is $3,188. That's just a half ounce. Whereas if you look at an ounce coin, one single ounce coin, you're looking at, here it is, 4,178. So stick with 1 troy ounce of gold coins minted by the government where you live, and you can't go wrong. All right, my friends, hope this was helpful. Have a great trading week and stay strong. This is when you really use your mental capacity to its fullest in order to not get overwhelmed with market conditions, but get excited about market opportunities.